When we start ArchiCAD, we're confronted with this palette here. We have three options available. The first one is to create a new project. When we create a new project, we have two options also. So the first option is to use a template. There is an ArchiCAD template file in there already, but you can also create your own templates, and you just have to browse and find the TPL file. Next, we have use the latest project settings. These are the settings that ArchiCAD has remembered from the last time you had ArchiCAD open. Next, we can open a project, and we can either browse for a project by pushing browse. We can search our hard drives or servers for a job, or we can push select a recent project, and it will remember in here recent projects that you have been working on. So you just select whatever you want to select and open by pushing the open button. We can also sign into a team project, in which case we push the browse button once again. The other thing we have control over is the environment that we open ArchiCAD in. We can use the last profile that we used, a default profile, and there's a choice of 3 profiles here, and you can also add to this, which we're going to show you how to do later. The other way we can open a file in ArchiCAD is obviously just click on the ArchiCAD file and it will automatically open. So if I push new, once ArchiCAD's open, we can see that the screen has got palettes on all 4 sides of it, but there's basically 3 palettes, and they're broken down into a toolbox, an info box, and a navigator. Across the top we have our shortcut toolbar that can be customized also, and down the bottom we have view options. To maximize the space on your screen, it's easy to grab these toolbars by left mouse clicking on it, and when that cursor comes up I can drag that out, and once it's out I can put it anywhere I like. And if I right mouse click in this area on the toolbar, I can actually change the size of it. I can also open our work environment toolbox here to customize it further. So I'm just going to go back to my personal toolbox and put it back to the classic toolbox to maximize our space on screen, and as I move to the left here it will snap into the screen. I can do the same for this toolbar as well. I can also extend it down the page this way, and the project map or navigator, which is basically a tool to help us manage the way we look at a model and print the model, I can actually close that so it doesn't stay on the screen all the time, and I have instant access to it by just pressing this little icon here. If I click it again it also disappears. The next one's a little navigator button, so if I left mouse click on that we have another form of navigating with that screen. Then we have a quick view options, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and we have the scale, the current scale of the floor plan, which is 1 to 100. If I click on that I can change that very easily to any scale that I like. And over here the zoom, so at the moment we're at 63% of 1 to 100, so if I left mouse click on that, now we're at 100% of 1 to 100 scale. Over here that's going off the page unfortunately, but we can also change the zoom settings here. To help illustrate how these zoom icons work, first of all I've drawn a small slab, and first of all I'm going to illustrate the scroll zoom. So if I left mouse click on this once and I left mouse click on the floor plan or move my mouse up the screen, I zoom in. If I move down the screen I zoom out. It doesn't matter where it goes this way, I'm basically still zooming out and I'm zooming in. If I click again it stops that zoom function. I'm just going to click on 100% again. If I click on the magnifying glass with the plus sign I can increase the zoom, so I just click once and drag a marquee out and it will zoom to that area. If I click on the magnifying glass with the minus sign in it, that's the reduce zoom. So I left mouse click, drag, and then everything will fall into that marquee. And then we have the pan icon. If I left mouse click on that I can just pan whatever I'm holding. Once I click again it will release what I have selected. I can also push the mouse wheel down and achieve the same effect. And of course I can also roll the mouse wheel in and roll the mouse wheel out. So a handy one always is to fit into window. So that fits everything that's selected on your screen into the window. This icon is to the previous zoom that I had, and this one is to the next zoom. So if I can just keep going back through the different zoom windows that I had open, and ArchiCAD remembers them all, and I can scroll and I can move back forward through all my zooms as well. So it recalls all my zoom windows that I've been working in. In addition to the tools we have available to zoom around our model, we also have the navigator, which is basically a tool to help us navigate around our file of our model. So first of all, the project map gives us our raw views of the model. Our view map gives us specific views of the model with the intention of creating a specific type of drawing. So they'll have a certain style, layer combinations, and things will be turned on and off so they will look like a drawing. Next we have the layout book, and this is new to ArchiCAD 10. This is where we set up all our documents for output. Then finally, our publishing window. There's a detailed explanation of the navigator in another movie on this DVD. In the toolbox, as I left mouse click on the icons, we can see the info box is related to it in the sense that as I select something in the toolbox, it propagates with all the properties of this object. Now, if I need to find more information about this particular object, I can double click on either icon and another palette opens up with some more settings. We also go over that in another movie. Then we come to the drop-down menus across the top of the screen. Now Graphisoft has rethought and reorganized these dramatically compared to older versions of ArchiCAD, but the new layout is a lot more logical. For example, anything under the View menu really controls the way we see things just on the screen. Anything to do in the Design drop-down is to do with putting the virtual building together. All your solid elements, your walls, columns, beams, stairs, complex profiles, modifying walls, so any tool that's necessary to build the 3D model. Under Document, we have anything that is necessary to create a set of documentation. Dimensions, labels, basically anything 2D. Pen sets, layers, layer combinations, schedules, lists, anything to create a document. Under Options, we have control over 2 and 3D elements, how to set them up, how to set up lines, fills, composites, and also how we want the program to react. Control over layouts, miscellaneous items, construction elements, and the work environments, so we can actually tailor the working environment that we're working in. The Teamwork drop-down allows us to sign into and share projects, as it suggests, and under Window we can change the way we look at the program on the screen. Under the File menu, we have all the usual commands you're probably used to, the print, save and plot, but we also have access to external files such as hotlink modules, which is another ArchiCAD file, xrefs, and other files that we might like to use within the context of ArchiCAD, and also library objects. This is where we load our libraries and find new objects and save new objects, which really sit outside of the actual program. Then finally there's the Help menu. Here we have automated the tasks of checking for updates, checking the latest libraries and new ArchiCAD objects, training resources, and there's lots of helpful documents in here. So this is an area that can be referred to a lot more to get some useful answers. So this has been a brief general description of the environment that we work in most of the time. We also have a 3D environment which another movie will cover.